Thank you very much, and thank you for your presentations here. And I know it's been a very difficult time for everyone involved. Can I just go to the issue in relation to treatment abroad? Because I think there is an issue here in relation to treatment abroad and the cross-border healthcare directive.
Yes.
And I was involved at the European level in the cross-border healthcare directive. And my understanding in relation to cross-border healthcare directive, you're entitled to medical care under cross-border healthcare directive in another member state of the European Union if you cannot access treatment in your own country or there is undue delay. Now, my understanding now, the difficulty about the cross-border directive is that if you go abroad for treatment under a cross-border directive, you have to pay for it yourself and then seek the refund. That's the disadvantage of it. But I'm just wondering, has anyone tried to use the cross-border directive in order to get that care? I know the problem is that you have to pay for it yourself first and then get the reimbursement, but has anyone gone through, because the cross-border directive now is different from treatment abroad. Yes. And I'm just wondering if anyone has gone through that mechanism.
I think they mentioned that, but because Taz stated that there were doctors in the state who are doing the surgery here, that it wasn't necessary.
No, but you see, if there's undue delay, in regards, because that's quite clear, I was involved in the drafting of it back 10, 15 years ago.
Okay.
And there's quite a clear directive. If there's lack of access, or the alternative, there's undue delay. So the undue delay mechanism could be used in relation to the use of the cross-border directive. And I'm just wondering.
Prior to Brexit, we have a member that went over and through the cross-border directive had surgery, came back and applied for the reimbursement. Now that's actually in the hands of the Ombudsman at the moment, because it turns out the person in question had a private insurance as well, but there was a discrepancy with that as well. So with the private insurance, they wouldn't pay out, but they had reimbursed some of the money just from her normal direct debit every month.
Okay.
And what happened then was, when she applied for the cross-border, they said about this with the Ombudsman for the insurance company, and it's in limbo since. It's on hold.
But obviously, my view on this thing is the cross-border directive was specifically designed at a European level. Started in 2007, went through, came into Ireland about 2012 eventually. It was transposed into Irish law. It is there. And I mean, my view is that it's an effective way of using that mechanism. And if then the funding is refused, then obviously my view is it's a judicial review issue to get an overall decision on that. But that's one issue. The second issue I just want to touch on is about, we've got figures from the HSE about the special clinics that they've set up in Cork and in Dublin. And the figures they're giving us is 40 have attended Cork and something like 69 have attended Dublin, and there's 16 on the waiting list. Now, those figures seem to me to be really small compared to the figures you're talking about, which is 750. Yeah. Is there a specific reason why people are not going to these clinics? Is it just that they're not aware of these clinics, or they're not being referred to them?
They're just not aware that they have the problem. Personally, I was at a consultant last week, and I happened to meet a lady in the waiting room. And like that, the lady has had numerous amount of surgeries over the years. She's after having organs removed from her and everything. And it was after, I don't know where she was after seeing something about the mesh, and she was going in to ask him directly, was it the mesh had caused her problems all over the years? And her answer to that question was probably.
But surely, you know, there's a small number. I think we have about 160 obstetricians, gynecologists in this country. Surely it's an easy mechanism to get information out to them, and that they would be aware of these special clinics. And are you saying that people are not being referred either by GPs or by consultants who's under whose care they are to these specialist clinics?
The learning reports were sent out to the maternity hospitals of the country, the group level hospitals, but at primary care, we say like GPs, casualty, A&E, they weren't informed of it. Now, I'm sure they're aware of it now after hearing and having so many people come and go at different times, but there's no actual, implementation of it even in the hospitals.
You do accept that if we're talking about a figure of 750 who had this treatment?
Oh yeah, I'd say you're talking more like thousands.
Okay.
And
sorry,
I'd say
my
care
apologies.
homes are full of people.
How many, sorry, did you say, sorry, I didn't get the figure?
Personally, I think that you're talking thousands.
Okay.
And care homes are full of people with mesh.
All right, okay. Can I just ask then, in relation to collection of data, as I said, the number of obstetricians and gynecologists in the country is around 160, 170. Surely to God, the number of obstetricians carrying out this procedure would have been quite small in real terms.
Yeah.
It would have been, what, 15, 20?
19, I think, was.
19, but surely that is easy. It would be easy to go through their records to identify the real numbers we're talking about.
You would think.
What is the mechanism as to why that's not being dealt with?
I don't know. I think, as Mary was saying, I think there needs to be a media sort of a thing about anybody, just in awareness.
You're saying that there was only 19 consultants dealing with this issue?
There was 19 that put it in group
Okay,
level
that's what I'm saying to you, 19
yeah.
that put it in, right? So therefore, and we're talking about from a period of what, from kind of 2000 to 2018?
No, 1998, isn't it?
Yeah,
Margaret,
yeah,
where were you?
I was 2000, but yeah, there was one before me, a few before
So
me.
it's,
So
you're
late
really talking
90s.
about 19, you're talking about 20 years really?
Yeah, 22.
Okay, so in real terms, if you're talking about 19 consultants over that period, maybe there's 2 or 3 would have retired halfway through. But surely to God we could get all of that information as regards identifying the real numbers. And then the other issue is about making sure that every one of them is made, those patients is made aware of the follow-up care that's now available in these clinics.
Yeah, that would be brilliant. Yes. And like that, at the time when they were putting them in, there was literally, with HPRA, there was actually only one consultant who had reported an adverse reaction to the mesh. And because it's not compulsory for them to do so. Like, I think things like that, if they're putting it, well, I know now regulations in Europe is after doing a whole big thing now since this, but it's just, like, people need to be aware. People don't know they have it.
Okay, thanks very much. Thank you very much, Ruth.